Hi there, it's Mr. Smith. In this video, I'll be going over our syllabus for DMAT 0307, which happens to be the exact same course as DMAT 305, so that we're actually getting rid of the 307 number. We just haven't gotten to that yet, but we're working on it. So anyway, if there was any question about that, contacting your instructor. So generally speaking, within 24 hours, instructors will get back to you. I mean, there's going to be times when something gets missed, but generally I'm really good about answering your emails or responding back to you when you try to get a hold of me. And if for some reason it is 24 hours or over that, please re-email me. I assure you I try to get back to people right away, but sometimes I can't take care of it right away and I'll click back out of it and then I'll forget about it. So again, I'm usually pretty good, but do not hesitate to send a second email if for some reason I don't get back to you. So my name is Scott Smith. My nickname is 1T. Notice Scott is with 1T. So you can call me Mr. Smith or 1T. I'm pretty easy. Some people call me Mr. Scott or just Scott. My email address is Scott with 1T Smith at dallascollege.edu. My phone number is 972-677-8940. So if you want to have a conversation, it's best to do that by phone. My office is J127. I'll be announcing my office hours the first week. If for some reason you need to get a hold of our division office, that's the information there. If you've been at Dallas College, you realize that, or you'll notice support contacts. This is a new part of the syllabus. So these are resources for students, things like your success coach, free tutoring, and so on. So make sure you know what's there. We just want to make sure students know what's available to them. So make sure you're familiar with what's there. As far as our course is concerned, this is developmental math, and our section is 21101. We meet Monday through Thursday, so 4 days a week, 8 to 9:20 a.m. And by the way, I'm really excited about this because normally we meet twice a week for 3 hours, and that's just very, very long. So it is 4 days a week, so that's the downside, but it's nice that we're only doing an hour and 20 minutes a day. And I expect that's going to make things a lot easier for students this semester. As long as you get here at 8 o'clock, that's going to be the challenge for some, and I hope you guys will do a great job of attending on time, because that's going to be really important. Our certification date is September 9th. We'll talk more about that shortly. And the last day to withdraw is November 14th. I just encourage you to make sure you do it the right way. If some reason you end up not completing the course, sometimes students get discouraged and they just give up, they stop attending, and life changes. They come back a few years later and they find out they're on academic probation. So don't do that to yourself. Make sure you do things the right way. I would hope you'd talk to me. Sometimes students think they're doing worse than they are, and I can help you kind of work through that. You've got your success coach. If you're a veteran, you'll probably want to talk to Veterans Affairs. If you're getting other types of financial aid, you may want to talk to the financial aid office. So again, make sure you do things the right way, and you'll avoid problems later on. This is our course description and the student learning outcomes for the BASM part of our course, which is basically basic arithmetic. So you may want to look that over. That's something you can do on your own. And then for DMAT 0307, you can look at the same thing. Again, course description and the learning outcomes. Another thing you'll see on all of your syllabi is Texas Core objectives. And these are things like critical thinking, and communication skills, things that are real assets when you get out in the real world. We hope your experience at Dallas College will help you develop these skills so that you'll leave with a stronger skill set and be more prepared for the workforce. So make sure you're familiar with those. And those are things to work on. You know, in college, you're trying to make yourself better and learn, and so those are things that you want to build into your abilities, skills to work on. All right, required course materials. So basically, you're going to do all your work in the DMAT 0307 course. You don't really need to go into the BASM course. At Dallas College, the course materials books, in our case it's MyLab Math, which comes with an online book. It's all provided as part of your tuition. It is possible to opt out and to buy your own materials, but I'll just tell you it's not a great idea. Many students have ran into problems during the semester. They can't get into their homework because suddenly it's not available. So we highly recommend that you don't consider opting out. It's not going to save you really any money to speak of. It's probably just going to be a big headache for you. So like I was saying, we're going to be using MyLab Math. The old name is My Math Lab, and so sometimes I call it that. It's an online textbook-based software where you're going to complete your assignments. Students must have access to a computer with internet access to complete the required work for this course. So it's important that you have good Wi-Fi and hopefully you have a good computer at home, because you're going to spend a lot of time doing the assignments on your computer. You do have access to computers on campus, but it's a lot to do it all on campus. The other thing I think I mentioned earlier is, or maybe I didn't, we do have hotspots. You know, if you have issues with Wi-Fi and stuff like that, that you might be able to rent or borrow through the library. And so if you have any kind of issues as far as being able to do the homework, let me know. So this is our book. It's Pre-Algebra with Introductory Algebra. And the one thing that's not covered as part of your tuition is a calculator. Now you may have a really good scientific calculator or a TI-84 calculator, and so it's possible that if you're good with that calculator, you'll be all right. But this is the one I'll be using in class. It's a TI-30XS multi-view calculator. And what's nice about it is you have a nice big screen. You can see everything as you're typing the numbers and the symbols in, like division. And in fact, when we get to the financial chapter, financial math, you can see the equations just as if they were on paper. And so it really makes things a lot easier. When we started using this calculator, students started doing better. So again, I really encourage you to get one of those. It'd also be very useful if you end up going to like a Math 1332 course. It's a good calculator, period, just to have around the house. All right, let's continue on. So grading. So for the BASM course, notice 15% of your grade is homework, 15% is quizzes, and then you have 2 tests that are 35% each. And so after your first 2 tests, you'll have your grade for the arithmetic part of this course. And then your DMAT grade is more standard as far as math courses are concerned. 10% is homework, 10% is quizzes. It includes the same stuff that you'd already done up here. Your tests are 60% and the final exam is 20%. Notice the final letter grade in BASM 0053 and DMAT 037 will be determined by the traditional grading scale. There are no D grades. So basically you've got to get a C in each course in order to pass. And unfortunately, this DMAT 0305 or 7 only come as a prerequisite course. And so even if you pass the 0053 part, you'd have to retake both courses because that's the only way to take it. So I just tell students, you're going to be here you spend a lot of time here, so make the most of your time and take every I should say, do your best to pass. You don't want to have to redo this. And I'll do everything I can to help you do that. Description of graded work. So the homework's going to be assigned in MyLab Math to practice the material from each section of the textbook. A great feature of MyLab Math is that you get immediate feedback on each problem. So you're going to know if you're getting it right or wrong. And if you get it wrong, you may not be able to see exactly what you missed on your current problem, but you can look at another example to see how this type of problem is worked out. I do want to say, sometimes students want to treat homework like a video game, and they do minimal writing, and they're just trying to get an answer to put in. And I think especially, I know for me, writing things out is very helpful in learning things. But also, if you're writing down the problem, showing your work, which is what you're going to have to do on the test, and making a note of any kind of questions or problems, things you want to ask about. Then when you get to a quiz or a test, you have stuff to look back on and study. And so, first of all, let's move on to quizzes. When you take the quiz, it's going to go over 2 or 3 sections or maybe more. But the nice thing about the quizzes is they'll help you to see how you're doing. If you're not doing well on the quiz, that's a good sign that you have more studying to do. But again, it's nice to have those notes to study. Take the quiz, if possible, without your notes, because that's how you really know that you're learning it. You get 2 opportunities to take it, and they are timed just like a test, so kind of prepares you for the test. Notice you have 6 tests that are worth 100 points. Tests may only be taken once, and they will be taken in class, and you'll be doing them on paper. So they won't be like doing homework and quizzes. Late work policy. Homework or quizzes should be completed by the due dates on the course schedule. Those dates are also in MyLab Math. Late assignments will receive a 25% deduction. Generally, students will not be allowed to take a test late. So make sure you talk to me if for some reason you're going to miss the day of a test. Or if you miss the day of a test for some emergency, you should contact me right away. I do want to say, I think one of the most important things for students, if you want to be successful, is get your work done on time, take your tests, everything on time, and that's really a key to success. Students that tend to procrastinate and are constantly late on things, they don't tend to do well. So, that would be an area to work on if that's something you'd struggled with. All right, instructor-student communication. We're going to be meeting together, and so most of the things I communicate to you are going to be done in class, but on occasion I may need to get a hold of you. So it's important that you're using your school email and that you're monitoring it. I know for me, I have all my emails coming directly to my phone. I've got 2 or 3 email accounts, and I always know when I get an email from any of those, it comes right to my phone. And so that's what I would recommend. You can ask another student or maybe get help from IT if you're not sure how to set that up. YouTube videos can be helpful for that kind of thing, but that just makes things a lot easier. And when you get out in the real world, it's nice to have that ability to do those kinds of things. I think that's about all I want to say here. It did talk there a little bit about asking your questions. Really encourage you to do that. I'm here to help you be successful in this course, but if you don't ask your questions, I can't help you. Whoops. Let's talk about attendance and participation. So it's really a pretty low bar. You just have to be in class at least once the first 2 weeks and begin doing work in MyLab Math. Of course, if you are not certified, that can affect your financial aid. Probably will. But keep in mind, this is a really minimal requirement. To be on schedule in the course, you'll notice the week 1 assignments should be completed by September 1st, and the week 2 assignments should be completed by September 9th, all the way up to assignment 2.4, with an average of 70%. For the best results in this course, I recommend that you have an average of at least 80% on homework and quizzes. Emergency communication problem or policy. If I need to get a hold of you, it's going to be through an email. And you may also want to make sure you're set up to receive Dallas College emergency alerts. If we have ice days or other types of problems, like electricity goes out or something, that's how you're going to find out that information. It's all going to be done through email. Institutional policies, you should be familiar with those. If you haven't read them, go ahead and look through those. They discuss things like tutoring, disability services, dropping or repeating classes, and a lot more. If I need to make any changes to the syllabus or the calendar based on how the semester is going, normally I'll announce that in class and also in eCampus. And let's go ahead and look at the schedule and we'll wrap this up. So you can see this is week 1 and everything's due on September 1st. These are your assignments. Now notice you have an optional orientation. There's a video on how to do the basic features of the calculator I use and that I recommend you have. These are the assignments for the first week. Notice second week, there's no class on Monday, but we do have 3 more days to cover the rest of the material, and that's due on the 8th. Notice our first test is not till the 4th week. And so everything's on the schedule. I really encourage you to keep that schedule wherever you're doing your homework. And you'll always know when things are due. The one thing I will tell you is if I haven't covered it, and even if it says it's due, it won't be due. Because like for this week, if I don't get to 3.4, I'll move that to the next week. But anyway, normally we're going to stick pretty close to the schedule. All right, well that's really all that I have to say about the syllabus. If you have any questions or anything still not clear, make sure you ask. I really do want you to know exactly what you need to be able to do to be successful in the course and how things work with this course. That's it, guys.